Chicago Bears training camp is finally here, and Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy had a press conference to kick it all off. So what is going on, y'all? Faiz Sports Talk back at it with another video talking, of course, some NFL here to talk about the Chicago Bears. And yes, you can smell it. Football season is upon us, folks. I cannot wait for the season to get started here. I'm going to be breaking down this press conference and what I heard, what were my biggest takeaways from this in case you missed the press conference, and just kind of discuss that. All right, so if you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button. You guys know the deal. Make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. And hit the bell icon so you're notified every time I drop a new video. I'm back, baby. Football season's back. You know I'm bringing the heat. Let's get into it. All right, so there was a lot said in the press conference, and I took a bunch of notes here, so I'm going to be breaking them down for you guys and giving you guys my biggest takeaways. Let's start with a couple of key items in terms of the defense, okay? Number one, Eddie Goldman is back. Yes, that's right, Eddie Goldman, who opted out last year from playing due to, obviously, COVID. He is back. And this is going to be a huge, huge help for this defense. So I'm excited. He's ready for training camp. He looks healthy, in football shape. Everything is looking good. So we are adding a very, very, very good player back to this team. And it's almost like we didn't have to give up anything for him because we didn't. We're just getting him back. So this is a big plus to the defense. All right. Eddie Goldman's back. Love that. Robert Quinn is healthy and ready to go. Robert Quinn's a guy who's been dealing with a lot of injuries, but now he is healthy and ready to go. And hopefully this season he goes out and balls out and becomes that guy we need him to, as a guy who can take advantage of all the double teams that Khalil Mack gets on the opposite side. And I need Robert Quinn to have a big year, get a lot of sacks, and wreak havoc on the defense and against opposing quarterbacks. So Robert Quinn looking healthy and ready to go. So you love that. All right. Another key item on the defense, Kindle Vildor is in the mix at the cornerback position to be the other starter alongside Jalen Johnson. So this is one of the things that I've told you all offseason, that we don't know who's going to be that second cornerback alongside Jalen Johnson. We just don't know who that's going to be. And we know that there's a bunch of guys in the mix. You know, Desmond Trufant's a veteran, etc. But it looks like Kindle Vildor is going to be in the mix and have a legitimate chance to be that starting cornerback alongside Jalen Johnson. So I am excited to hear that because, like I've been telling you guys, this is not the Desmond Trufant with the Falcons in his prime. He is well past that. And so I'm excited to see what a guy like a Kindle Vildor can do alongside Jalen Johnson, and maybe even, other guys get in the mix like a Thomas Drab. So it is completely in the air, up in the air on who's going to be that second starting cornerback. Training camp is going to decide that. All right. And finally, sticking with the defense, there's a lot of excitement around Sean Desai, the new defense coordinator for the Chicago Bears. Ryan Pace is happy about him. Obviously, Matt Nagy as well. And I just feel like he's going to bring a new attitude to this defense, all right? They're really going to ball out, I believe, this year because I really, really think Sean Desai is going to bring the best out of them, certainly more than Chuck Pagano did. So I'm very excited about that, folks. And that's another thing I want to talk about here is that Pace and Nagy, man, they looked like they had no worries in the world. Like, when you see guys that they are tensed and stressed out because they know their jobs are on the line and they know that they have to perform. Well, Nagy and Pace didn't look like that. Nagy and Pace look cooler than the other side of the pillow, folks, because you know what? They got their crown jewel, Justin Fields, who is their savior. And, until we see Justin Fields play, nobody's going to be able to question Nagy and Pace in terms of their job security because you haven't seen Justin Fields. So it's really been like the monkey off their back getting Justin Fields, because Pace and Nagy, even though they are guys whose jobs should be on the line if, again, the Bears do not perform well, they didn't look like it. They looked cool, calm, and collected. So another quick takeaway that I had. So that's the defense, all right? So we talked about that. Let's switch over to Matt Nagy, okay? Specifically talking about one key thing that I focused on, Matt Nagy said he is going to put an emphasis on the preseason this year. So we didn't have preseason last year due to COVID. We all know that. And a lot of people, including myself, hate the preseason. I am not a fan of the preseason. And to be honest, if the preseason went away, I wouldn't mind. But Matt Nagy feels different. And Matt Nagy this year basically said that he plans to play his starters in the preseason and a decent amount, right? He basically wants to be more aggressive in the preseason. All right, he wants to play his starters, and now we know Justin Fields is probably going to play in the preseason, but I'm talking about his offensive starters, and he wants to get them into the rhythm. Now, again, the big issue I always have with preseason is, like, again, the chance of injury, right? Why are you putting these guys in harm's way out there? I don't want it. Just save them for the real games when it counts. But it looks like Matt Nagy's actually going to play his guys in the preseason, play them pretty aggressively. So we could see the starters play maybe more than a half, maybe even 3 quarters. So definitely going to be interesting. Obviously, I'm hyped to see Justin Fields play. Quick note, week 2 of the preseason, it is the Bills versus the Bears, and we could be seeing, check this out, folks, we could be seeing Fields versus Trubisky. All right? Mitchell Trubisky, of course, who is now the backup for Josh Allen in Buffalo. That could be the matchup in week 2 of the preseason, so I'm definitely going to be watching, and you should as well. So that is a takeaway that I had. Matt Nagy basically said that he wants to be more aggressive in the preseason, play starters more. He also wants to feed David Montgomery. He expects and wants the Bears to have lots of leads in the fourth quarter this year, which in turn will lead to feeding David Montgomery. He says 20 carries a game is very doable. And this is obviously good news because David Montgomery is our bell cow. He is our running back. And when the Bears run the football, they do better. So if Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback, and even if it is Justin Fields, I want to run the football as much as possible because, like I said, that is going to limit the turnovers. That is going to help, get this offensive line going. And Monty, end of last year, man, he was an absolute beast. He was an absolute monster. And we need to feed Monty, all right? And also that tells me Tariq Cohen's still not ready yet, and we know he's placed on the PUP list. So that is another thing. Also talking about if Justin Fields challenged for the starting job, because we all know it is Andy Dalton. That's what Matt Nagy kept reiterating. But if he does challenge, if he crushes in the preseason and he challenges Andy Dalton for the starting job, how would Matt Nagy feel? He said he would be ecstatic. He said that'd be awesome. It'd be great. So the door is still open for Justin Fields to be able to get the starting job. All right. If he absolutely destroys in the preseason and in training camp, I could see a scenario where Matt Nagy is forced to do it. All right. I think Matt Nagy's stubborn, but I don't think he's that stubborn. So look out for that. All right. So that is another thing Matt Nagy pointed out. He has been really impressed with the progression that Justin Fields has made thus far since he's seen him, at the beginning with OTAs and everything like that. Okay. So that's with Matt Nagy. And finally, Ryan Pace also talked about how the Anthony Miller trade came through. Basically, when the Texans were able to offer a 5th-round pick, that's when he signed off on the trade and said, that he was willing to do it. So I told you guys I'm happy with that compensation because Anthony Miller has really dwindled down into a very, very, very inconsistent and injury-prone receiver. And I thought we were getting a 6th or 7th-round pick for him. We're getting a 5th. I love it. So I got no complaints there. So that's how that trade came through for Ryan Pace. So that's essentially it for the biggest takeaways. Again, Eddie Goldman's back. Robert Quinn looks to be healthy. The starting cornerback alongside Jalen Johnson, that looks to be a complete toss-up. That's going to be decided. Nagy wants to play guys in the preseason more. His starters, he's going to be more aggressive. Justin Fields has a legitimate chance at the starting quarterback position if he crushes in the training camp and in preseason. And Ryan Pace, with the Anthony Miller trade, made it go through after he got that 5th-round pick as compensation. So far, folks, that's been sort of the takeaways that I've had from this press conference. There's going to be a lot more. Obviously, I'll be covering with training camp and everything else in between. But keep a lookout for, more updates as I'll be posting on more videos. That's why I always tell you guys, make sure you have the post notifications on because I will be posting pretty much daily. So let me know what you guys think. Any other takeaways that I may have missed that you guys know, leave a comment down below if you agree or disagree. As always, thanks for watching.